We're going to talk about the new Panigale V4S, which is the bike that I plan on getting next. Waiting for Ducati to come out with something different, something new, something that didn't look like the old Panigales, like my V2 or the V4s that we have seen for the last few years. I was really hoping they come out with something different, and they actually did, but it is getting so much hate. And I was just like, I'm just gonna make a whole separate video on it. And I actually said that in the video yesterday, and I was like, you know what, I think I'll just do a whole separate video. So I'm actually here on Ducati's website checking out the bike, and I'm absolutely in love with this motorcycle. I love the way this thing looks. The skinny headlights are my favorite. I love the way the wings come up. I love the tail design. I love the fairing design. It's just a really good looking bike. I'm absolutely in love with the double swinging arm. I think that was an absolute necessary upgrade to the bike. It's not a downgrade. I know the single-sided swinging arm looks cool. It looks awesome on my V2, don't get me wrong. Like, it's a cool feature to have. But performance-wise, it makes absolute zero sense, or all the GP bikes would have a single-sided swinging arm. Josh Herron, and who rides the V4s, and like some of the other racers, describe the Panigales with the single swinging arm. They just don't get out of the corners the same as like some of the R1s in World Superbike, or in like Josh Herron's case, like the S1000s. Like, they rip around those corners, and they just get, it's just different. I mean, I don't race and I don't perform to that level, but like from what those guys are saying, that's why Ducati come up with this the double swinging arm. So it's like, it's one of those things where like people, I don't know what people expected. Like they wanted a change. Ducati changed, and like to undermine the engineering that they put into this bike, and to say you're a Ducati fan, it just kind of makes really zero sense to me. Like, the bike's beautiful. It might not be like what you wanted. I don't really know what people wanted. Like, I saw a rendition from a Instagrammer who makes like renditions of the Panigales, and he was like, oh, this is mine. And all these comments were like, oh, yours looks so much better. He put some ugly ass wheels on it that you would never be able to race in. They're like show wheels. And then he added like these stupid ugly vents in the side, and got rid of the double swinging arm. And I'm like, and then they're like, oh, your design is better. And I'm like, that's not his design. He took Ducati's design and put a bunch of ugly shit on it. And like, the thing is, like, people said the same thing about the V2. When the V2 first came out, everybody was like, oh my God, it's a baby V4. Like, why didn't they just, make it different? And they're trying to make a V4. Like, yeah, they were making a baby V4. That's what the V2 is. And now everybody loves it. It's a phenomenal motorcycle. I promise you, when you see this bike in person, you're going to be head over heels in love with it. I can see by the 3D, like, look, they have like a 360 camera view of it. And it's so beautiful. Like, I love the skinny headlights. Absolutely love the way this bike looks. And I cannot wait to ride it. So let's go over some of the features. This is right off the Ducati website. So as for aerodynamics, the new Panigale V4 sets out to protect the rider from turbulence along the straight, almost as if they were inside a bubble of a calm air. The same feeling for the Desmo Sedici GP rider experience. And also, one thing that I noticed is the rear sets are in 10 millimeters. That's a substantial amount. The rear sets are like, you can see on this like front picture, you're not gonna see your legs. Like, the whole plastics come out past your legs, and my bike, it does not do that. So the rear sets are in 10 mils. That's a substantial amount on both sides, 10 millimeters. So that's pretty sick. And then you obviously have the wing scoops. So the fairings reduce aerodynamic resistance. We know that from the last one, but the difference with this one is they're actually made into the plastic. It's not like a bolt-on like afterthought. This is actually made into the plastic, and it's quite sick looking. Like, fully integrated wings. I'm in love with it. The bike just looks so good. They did such an amazing job with this. And like, I would argue people, like, you're entitled to your opinion. If you don't like what you like, that's fine. But like, people always, I feel like people always see something from somebody else, and like one person says it's ugly, now everybody thinks it's ugly. And I'm just like, as soon as I saw this bike, I knew I was in love with it. Like, they changed the headlights. I didn't want them to keep those headlights. They changed the way the intake is in the front. So instead of, like, under the headlights on this Panigale and the V4s, it's like triangles under the headlights, like these triangle things. This one is a big front fist opening. So it's pretty sick. I think it's amazing. And you know what? Hey, people, you know, I feel like everybody's gonna buy this bike. There's so many people are talking shit, but it's just interesting to me, like, how many, I can't wait to see, like, when you see it in person. So let's go into ergonomics. The ergonomics, the main changes regard the contact points between motorcycle and rider and position in the saddle. Tank, foot pegs, and seat fit have been completely revised with the aim of heightening control on the most important phases of the track, riding and allowing the rider to fully exploit the performance of the Panigale V4, both over in single lap duration extended session. So the bike's gonna be super comfortable. It's got like a racing seat already on it. Pecco Bagnaia was literally, I probably butchered his name, he was 4 seconds off his lap record. 4 seconds off on a stock bike from his GP bike record. That's insane. So lots of changes, like everything is different on this bike, which is roomier seat, tank mounted around the rider. So it's just internal foot peg position. Like I said, the foot pegs are in 10 mils. Like if you see the bike from the rear, it looks like the foot pegs are like in the rear tire. Like they're only sticking out a little bit because you're in the bike. It's like so cool how they design this thing. It's got this big fat wide front end that just goes into this little skinny. It's amazing. It's an amazing machine. Anybody who thinks otherwise is out of their mind. It's the latest and greatest technology in motorcycles. It's a Ducati. It's absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait till they come out with the R's. I'm gonna get the S. I'm gonna go in a few weeks, put the down payment on it, and hopefully I'll have that soon. The one thing that I noticed, okay, so let's go in the electronics because this is cool. So it's got a 7-inch display now. So on my bike, it's a real small display. The V4's got a little bit bigger one. But like I said, that's gonna be a track bike. The V2 isn't going to be the bike that I ride around. This V4 though, I can't wait to get the V4, guys. You know, I've been dying to get a new bike for a while. And I've just been waiting. I've been waiting because I heard rumors they were gonna change it up, and I was like, you know what? Everybody's getting the new ones, and you know, like 650. You know, 650 E's gonna buy this bike. You know, there's no big famous YouTubers not gonna buy this. Everybody's gonna buy this bike. It's absolutely beautiful, and I just don't get it. The one thing that's really sick what they did with the mirrors. The mirrors are attached to the inside. So they just kind of like come out. I don't know if I'd get rid of the mirrors on this bike now. I mean, they actually look really good how they come out of the fairings. They're not like on the fairings. 7-inch display. And it has an app screen now. So it has like, you can set up the 7-inch display to have like all these different apps. It has a tire warmer set, or a tire, it tells you how hot the tires are. Like, how do they have technology in this bike that tells you how hot the tires are? It has technology in a bike that will, like, if you're chill ride mode, like, oh, I'm chilling, I'm like in traffic or whatever, the bike chills. It knows. It has all kinds of sensors in it. We can get into that, but like here it is, Ducati Vehicle Observer-Based Ducati Corsa Algorithm. The electronic controls evolve with the use of Ducati Vehicle Observer, DVO. Developed by Ducati Corsa, this algorithm can simulate the input of 70 sensors and measure 70 physical quantities for precise estimate of the levels of intervention of traction and wheelie control system. This means that the systems can intervene in almost predictive mode, boosting both performance and safety. Like, who's not gonna get this bike? New throttle control, New concept of ABS, which is Race E CBS. Event-based Ducati electronic suspension with 3.0 software, Ducati data logger. It's just got so many, and a quick shift 2.0, by the way, with an up and down. It's got an auto blip, I mean, obviously. So there's that. Let's talk about the engine. This is the thing that everybody's gonna want to know about. How fast is it? It's faster than the new one, or the old one. Engine. Well, yeah, let's go into the engine. All right, Explore. Look at the size of this thing. Monsters compared to this bike. All right, so the heart of the Panigale V4 is the latest solution in desmodatic straddle. A 1,103cc Desmo Sedici straddle V4. Twin pulse firing order, latest 90-degree V4 race part excellence, blah, blah, blah. More efficient cooling. It's got different camshafts. All right, so this was the big thing that they talked about that I heard. As for maximum power, the new camshafts have higher lift, plus 0.75 millimeters for the intake cam and 0.45 millimeters for the exhaust cam. And there are lighter tanks to larger lightning holes, narrow tooth drive wheels. The lengths and the variable height intake ducts have been modified to match intake to the new list. The long duct configuration increased by 5 millimeters, while the short duct configuration is reduced by 10 millimeters. They changed everything. Power. All right, 1,103 cc's, 209 horsepower. I believe the Euro version is 216. Torque, 89 foot-pounds of torque, 11,250 RPMs. This bike is an absolute monster. 421 pounds, seat height 33.5 inches. Beautiful, beautiful motorcycle. The gearbox 6-speed Ducati quick shift up and down. All this is just, it tells you everything you need to know. Aluminum alloy front frame with optimized stiffness. Front suspension fully adjustable Showa BPF fork, 43 millimeter chrome inner tubes. Front wheels 5-spoke light. By the way, the new wheels are made by Ducati. They're not some knockoff. The tires that come with are Pirelli Diablo Supercorsa SPV4s. They're the new SPs. They're 5-spoke rear light alloy. Rear wheel is 17. We already know. By the way, the rear tire is a 260 Z17. So it's a 200 tire. It's not the 190. Putting a 190 on this bike here soon. The front brake, I heard a little bit about why they got rid of the front, changed the front brake. So we got a 2x 330 millimeter semi-floating disc, radial mounted Brembo monoblock, hyper 4-piston calibers with race ECBS self-bleeding master cylinder. Insane. It's so sick. Rear brake is underslung. And it's a 245 millimeter 2-piston caliber, also with the race ECBS. Oh, it's a 6.9 TFT display, not 7, so. Wet to fuel, 421 pounds. Again, seat height, wheelbase. Number of seats, single. You can get the accessory if you want. Now the V4S, oh, this is just the regular V4. This is the one I'm getting. So the V4S has some other features. It's the front fairings painted different. From what I've seen, the R is going to be incredible. Obviously, the R is going to have probably the acro exhaust. Like here, we can do here some customizations. Explore. I debated whether if I'm going to get it with the acro exhaust. I don't know. Like, oh wow, look, configure. You can get carbon fiber front wings. Carbon configuration. Acropova silencer, carbon rims, carbon front mud guards, carbon rear mud guard, carbon cover for the clutch case. Carbon everything, pair of carbon wings. Do I want all of that? Yes. Yes, I do. I don't like the look of the acro exhaust. The undertail. It just looks crazy. I'll throw a picture of this up when I can after I do the video. Make your Ducati unique. You can actually get it painted any color you want to. I think there's like some kind of features or some kind of something you can do to get it like yellow or something. But anyway, the chassis looks sick. Like the way that the rear subframe looks, it's so different than with this bike, is like how it's tubing. This is like machined aluminum. Like I'll throw this picture up as well. It's actually so sick. The double-sided swinging arm has a enormous hole in the side of it. So let's talk about that. The new Ducati hollow what the heck is this word? Hollow symmetrical swinging arm perfectly marries aesthetics and functionality. It reduces lateral stiffness by 37%. Lateral stiffness reduced by 37%. In case you guys are wondering why they got rid of the double swinging arm, that's why. It's going to be a better performing motorcycle. A complex, sophisticated, and elegant structure that offers the same sense of connection between the front and rear axle as the Desmosedici GP bikes. It's a GP bike with headlights. Rear suspension. It's an Öhlins rear suspension. But by the way, let's talk about the frame. MotoGP derived front frame. The new Panigale V4 uses a front frame developed as a result of Ducati Corsa experience in MotoGP, which they are absolutely dominating. If you don't follow GP, they're absolutely dominating in Moto America Supersport, absolutely dominating in Moto America Superbike. I just don't know what else to tell you guys. The Ducatis are the best motorcycles ever made. Nobody is going to buy a BMW over this bike. If you want to buy your BMW, go ahead and blow your camshafts and shoot rods through your block. If you want to go buy the Yamaha R1 and be slow, fine. If you want to compare it to anything else, I just don't see the comparison. The new MV Augusta is pretty sick, but I just don't see Ducatis are the best, and that's all there is to it. Aprilias can't hold a can to them. They don't look as good. They're fast. They're fun. They just don't look as good. They're not as pretty. I'm sorry. They're just not. But, you know, a lot of people are saying, oh, I'm ready to buy a BMW. Well, like one person said that. And, like, the BMWs blow up. The Hondas blow head gaskets and leak coolant. They always have. These bikes have always done the same thing. They never fix it. The BMW's been blowing motors since they started the S1000. They had the cam problem in the 20s, or maybe it's the 19s and 20s. And even in these new ones, they blow motors. There's like 3 or 4 YouTubers who've had the new S1000 or M1000 R blew the motor in the first week. So that's my next bike. It's 100% like this is the bike I'm getting. There's no, like, I don't care. Like, anybody doesn't like, you don't have to like the bike. I like it. Like, I think it's so unique. I think it's so much different. I love actually everything about it. Its design is top notch. So Ducati did a phenomenal job. I love it, and I'm looking forward to getting it on a channel. And just this bike, I'm probably gonna keep as actual like stock as I possibly can. I'm gonna get all the things I can possibly afford out of the factory from it, because like you have those abilities to do that. So like, why not just buy the badass super bike from the factory? But I also do want to customize it like in my own way. But I don't want to go this route. Like, of course I want to put rear sets, but we'll see like what's offered when I'm getting ready to buy it, and like it comes in. Obviously gonna get the tail tidy, and if I can like string like carbon wheels are like $4,000. So excuse me. Anyways, inspired by MotoGP. I mean, the bike, it's what we've all wanted. We all asked for this. Like, and I hate how people will like undermine Ducati engineers and be like, oh, it's ugly. It's not what we want. It's like exactly what everyone wanted. We wanted a better performing, better looking bike, and that's exactly what we got. And I just don't see, I don't think people are understanding. I don't think it's really fully registering because it's new and it's different looking. It doesn't look like the old one. And why would you want to make it look like the old one? It's a different bike. So anyway, guys, that's what I got for you. The new V4, that's kind of my explanation on it. Hope you guys will, you know, I don't really care if you like it or not, honestly. It's not like I'm trying to convince you to like the V4. You can like what any bike you want. If you don't like it, you don't like it, fine. But I'm going to buy it. I mean, this is the bike I want. And y'all can be sitting at home wishing you had it when I do. So that's all I got for you guys. I love you all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.